All right, welcome back to our third edition of On the Set. I'm Joshua Stevens.
I'm Gabe.
And this is our guest, Jefe Michulka. I just butchered the hell out of it. You look at the camera and you tell them what your name is.
It's Michulka, but
Michulka.
Jefe's fine.
Jefe's fine. You know, I had known about Jefe for a few years before I ever met you. We,
Yes.
if you've seen our other podcasts, you know that my brother here is a musician and one of my favorite bands.
I had a band.
Was Heavy Stoned, and this cat, we call him Koki. His name's George.
Jorge Rosales.
Yeah, but we call him Koki. I don't know why everyone just got a special name, but they do.
He was special.
Well, yeah, he was special. We call him Koki, and he played bass, but he didn't just play bass for the band. He brought energy
Yes.
to the band.
Yes.
Like anytime you would see them live, and I'm not going to sit here and say he was a mediocre musician or good or bad, but I'm going to say when it's time to perform,
He did.
he performed.
He
had that Billy Idol coked up kind of, you know, I'm just going 90 to nothing.
Yes.
And even if the rest of the band is staring at the ground,
He's
you know,
going
he's
off.
hair thrashing everywhere.
Yes.
You know, and just going at it. And he's telling me, Jefe's gonna get me a spot downtown. And I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about. And then he's like, you know, like one of the music rooms that you rent out, like the other place who has that other one?
Francisco
Like
Studios.
Francisco Studios, right? And he tells me it's like Francisco Studios, but
way cooler.
But okay, way cooler, right? And so he's telling me about this, and then one day he calls me up and says, "Man, can you bring your truck over? I finally got the room."
Right.
And so I'm like, okay. Now I know when I'm going 45, I-10 almost to 45 there. What's that exit? It's like Maine. I would exit,
San
right?
Jacinto, Maine.
Yeah, it's right there, right downtown. You
blink,
step
you
out.
miss it.
You step out in the parking lot. Beautiful, everything downtown, right there in front of you.
Yep.
Right. And I was like, man, I've been here before. And there used to be like a record store at the very end of that, you know, strip, like all the way down at the other end.
Okay.
And they had a venue in there where they would do concerts.
Oh yeah, Walters.
Right. Yeah. I've dropped my daughter off there before.
Yep.
She used to go like emo night or whatever it was. And so I was like, man, I've actually been here before, and I bought vinyls from when you walk in for that concert. You got to go through the little store first.
Record store.
And yeah, you guys, I like vinyl. I'm old, you know.
Yeah.
But so I'd go in there.
They smell.
Yeah. Well,
Everyone
I
should have one, at least.
Everything going to digital. You know, I still like CDs, but
It's different.
But not being able to put my hands on it, not having that tangibility.
Yes.
Right. And then,
You
and
know?
then being able to, as the record's playing, I'm reading the words.
Read the words.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
and
yeah.
then whatever artwork's on there that that they want to present as as them, I want to see that.
I
too,
want to see
you know?
that, right?
N-
And we
n-
come from an era that
Yes.
that's what
Yeah.
we had, you know.
So anyhow, I'm there, and I'm like, damn, dude, I've been here before. Never in like the studio section, right? And so we get there, and then I help get his stuff moved in, and we go down this long corridor, and I'm seeing that everybody's like paints their door, right? Like, never mind, the hallways are like artistically graffitied, right? They're not like gangbanger tagged.
Right.
They're artistically graffitied, right? But each band like does their door up, you know? And so we get down there, and I've been there probably 10 or 15 times, picking him up, doing stuff with him, and he's always talking about, you know, doing side work with Jefe and like just talking about, you know, Jefe might come to the studio, our studio, to record some stuff. I was like, nah, just tell him whenever, you know. But I hadn't even met you. And I run a gun range a couple of days a week, all right? And so this past year, you know, I was at the gun range, and I see this walk up, okay? And when you see this, I mean, what comes to me is it's like a cross between a homeless guy and Rob Zombie, right? And so I was like, okay, you know. And then I seen that he had like some rock and roll memorabilia stuff on, and I saw it said Jefe right here on his,
He's got a patch.
right there.
It says,
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, you got a band, man? And he's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. And he's telling me about when they're playing. And now we're friends. Right. So now he's, we're talking at the window there and become friends. And I'm like, dude, I think we know each other. We just haven't met.
Right.
And I was like, Koki talked to you about Connection Studios one. He's like, yeah. I was like, so you're that Jefe. So I never got a chance to meet him with Koki.
Right.
But I ended up, having the chance to meet you at the range, and then followed you on Facebook, and through time, and we can let you talk about it in a little bit. We say it was your last show, but it was your last show with the band you were with.
Crowmonger.
With Crowmonger. It just so happens I had no idea Jeff was playing. I'm still gonna call you Jeff. I'm so sorry. Jefe. All right. Jefe was playing. I didn't know. I was there to visit some friends that were actually promoting the show. His name is Promo. And so I'm there just because Promo had said, hey, dude, come out to BFE tonight, hang out for a little while.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And then I called my buddy Gabe, and I said, hey, bro, I want you and Jackie come with us. We're going to go out to BFE tonight, for a little bit. Promo's got some gigs going on. I think there were 3 or 4 bands, And then I saw you there, and I was like, wow, coincidence.
Hell yeah,
but then it's like, it's my last show. And I was like, dude, I'm so glad we went.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to see that band again for a while.
Right.
If at all ever, so we got the chance to do that. Then while that's going on, Gabe goes, I know his guitarist.
Yeah.
I know his guitarist. And so I'm just telling you, what a small world.
Right.
Sure.
Especially in the Texas music scene.
Yeah.
Houston.
So,
Houston music scene.
So we knew each other, and then we finally got to meet.
Right. Heck yeah.
And all I can tell you guys is, I'm texting this cat because we had talked a while back about when you start your podcast. Yeah, bro, I'll come on. Blah 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 blah. Look, everybody says they'll do something, but rarely are they actually up for it. I called this cat with a day's notice. Says, "Hey man, I got my podcast going, and
Thank you.
I'd like to have you on as a guest." Now we could have scheduled for any other time, but my guy for tonight rescheduled for next week.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I was like, "Well, what about tomorrow?" And he's like, "F and A, I'll be there, bro. Are we doing it Zoom or are we doing it at the studio?"
Yeah.
And so, here it is. Yeah. So.
It is on the set.
It is on. This is an unscripted show. You won't see notepads up here or anything where we've got things written down. But the point of our show though is to spotlight you.
Yes.
Even though we steal the mic and talk way more than we should. At this point, let everybody out there. Let them know. Basically who you are and
Where you're from,
what you've got going on,
Right.
And we'll talk about it'd be terrible not to talk about Crowmonger for a second,
Sure, absolutely.
And I know it's one that has ended, but
well,
go ahead.
I don't know. Well, Tommy wound up just getting a job, an opportunity he couldn't refuse, kind of thing, with this position, and it was going to take him out of town a lot. He didn't know if he was going to be in Greece for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Or Florida for 4 days and then have to drive to Alabama for 3 days. And I mean, it was just so up in the air. And he's just, I just can't keep y'all just dangling like that. You know what I mean? So let's just.
No, we got to respect that. You got to respect
absolutely.
that.
I mean, I told him, I was like, I'm not saying it doesn't sting, but I'm not mad at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I love that band.
Of course.
And I love performing in that band, and it was definitely one of my better experiences as far as being a musician, is because I finally did it right. Like, I've been doing it wrong the whole time from '99 up until a few years ago, and because I'm certain you know this too. You get in a band, you write some songs, you get excited. You're like, oh well, let's play some shows first, and then we'll get in the studio and then we'll record. And you've got like 2 or 3 T-shirt designs, and you show up and you play your first 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gigs, and you don't have any music to give to anybody, and you didn't do the right hype going up to it either.
Yep.
With Crowmonger, we did it right.
Built it right.
Tommy made sure of that. I mean, we little teasers here, teasers there. Album was done. We shot a video. Man, I'm getting goosebumps because
Yes.
I've been wanting to do a jam room video for like 13 years, and we finally did one. Yeah,
Wow.
man, it was super. I think it turned out really, really well. I was really excited. Yeah. So, but so I never want to say never,
Right.
but
Good.
probably not. Who knows? There may be an event that comes up, and Tommy's like, "I'm going to be in town. Let's get some rehearsals in and let's knock it out."
The good thing about having a former band, like you see the Eagles and all these bands, they're able to get back together because they play well together and they've done it before.
Right.
So you guys have cut your chops, and you've got it down already. So you very easily could end up doing a show together,
Right. Get
and
back
that's
on.
great. Now, for a lot of our audience, you may have never been in a band. You may not understand how a band works, and there's no one formula, guys.
No.
But I have broke bands, and that means get bands together and send them to the next level. And I've recorded a lot of bands in the studio, so I've learned a lot of what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
But there are. We had a loud truck just pass us there. If you could hear that
Thanks,
on the
guys.
auto.
I didn't just fart.
Thanks.
I didn't just fart.
No.
Thanks, guys.
That wasn't me
No,
farting.
it wasn't Jefe. But anyhow, what happens is if you're doing it right, and by him saying he's doing it right, the thing to do is to have a product. And a lot of people don't
Yes.
understand that their band is a business.
It is.
Right.
And you have to treat your band like it's a business.
Yes, you do.
So when you think about it like that, if you don't have a product, your business can't sell anything.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So if I'm breaking a band, this is my ingredients, and this is simple ABCs, right? I say you got to come into the studio, and you've got to start working on your music. No, we're not playing gigs.
Right.
Okay. We're gonna get our album down and good
First.
and perfect. And never have an excuse. Never hand somebody something and go, oh, it's just a demo. Never hand someone your music and give any sort of excuse of
Right.
why it's not
Yeah.
at its best. So it should be the best you can do at that time and say,
Absolutely.
hey. And when you've got that product, now if you go out somewhere and you play a show, everyone wants to say, well, I need that exposure.
Right.
They're giving
the free
they're-
exposure.
Right, they're giving me
misconception.
They're giving me exposure. Well, what really happens is it costs money
That's
to go
right.
play a free show.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I point this out to a band, you've got let's just say there's 4 members.
Right.
Right. Each member's going to spend
3 out of the 4.
Each band member is going to spend $10 in fuel.
Yep.
There's $40. Each band member is going to spend $10 in drinks minimum. Some way more. Now we're at 80.
Does $10 for drinks in a night?
Right.
I
Right.
had 2 more zeros.
That's right.
Or maybe at least another, not 2 more.
Right. Well, we're trying
Yeah.
to keep it
But
simple.
that's
but,
for me anyway.
Right.
but it's easy to see how this stacks up. Then after the show, Taco Bell's not that expensive.
No.
But everybody's going to drop another $10 or $15.
That's right.
And so by the time the band is done, you will spend between $100 and $300
Per person.
to go out and play a free show.
Right.
And so I'll only let a band go out and play a show just so I can get the stage fright off of them.
Right.
Okay, that's it. But you've got the music down. I'll only throw you in the water like that, not for any purpose other than that. And I say, hey man, you got to pay fees.
Yes.
Like, what do you mean pay fees?
Dues.
Look, even in the Boy Scouts, you pay fees, bro.
You got to pay your dues.
The
if
sound
you want
guy's
your
not free.
if
Right.
you want your business to
Not
grow,
a good one.
you guys have expenses. So you have to put money every week into the pot.
Right.
And if everybody, instead of spending that $50 or $100 towards that gig you play for free, right? You bring $20 in a week, and it starts getting into your account. Now you guys have some money building up. And as you're recording that album, by the time you finish that album, you've got a little bit there. And then when you decide you're going to go play some shows, that's up to
You got
good.
something to sit on.
But that's
Got
up
some
to good
cushion.
management too, because there are 2 ways that this works. And then this is for the people that don't know the other side of this. Okay, there's 2 ways that it works. Either the club wants you to come entertain their crowd, or the club wants you to bring a crowd.
Right.
Okay, so that's how you got to know. Am I gonna make a deal for a flat rate from the club
Right.
to just go play and entertain their people?
Right, I guarantee.
Or-
and those are
or-
normally
or-
cover bands.
Or is it
Yeah.
or is it the case of you need me to bring the crowd, so now I have to put my street team out there and I've got to pump this up myself. Now I need a piece of the door.
Right.
Right.
And so
And
there's
the alcohol sales.
yeah, there's a little more to it,
Mm-hmm.
than what most people would think. And if you don't follow it, it's out there if you know how to do it, and if you're good enough, and you've followed the recipe that far, right? Then the next thing you do is you do a buy-on. And a lot of
Right.
people, they get nervous, they
Oh,
get
you-
scared.
you
Look,
can't-
I'll drop 10 grand for a band to play 3 or 4 cities
Right.
and open up for a big band.
For a bigger band. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're in Houston, so I would get a buy-on where I'd pay like 10, 15 grand, and so the band's not making money. I'm not making money.
Right.
So you'll play Houston, you'll play San Antonio, you'll play Dallas, maybe Austin. Okay. Now you have to go back to these same cities within that 6-month period, and when you go back,
That's
you
a lot
go
of
back and you advertise as seen with, right? And you use that star power. And you have your street team, when you're there at that show, you have your street team out in the crowd, getting people's names, numbers, getting them to like your Facebook, getting
Right.
all that collected
Signing
up.
up the emails.
And then you have to make sure too that the thing you're buying onto, like say your stuff sounds like Kid Rock,
Okay.
you know, then you need someone like Kid Rock to buy
Right.
onto. You know, you don't buy
You wanna
on.
fit the genre.
You know, you don't buy onto a Tejano band. You know, when you sound like Kid Rock.
Right.
You know, so if you
That'd
do
be
that,
Unless
that'd
you're
be an odd
featured
show.
Ghost.
right. So once you've got your chops down, you've got your product ready to go. You do this buy on. You don't have to worry about being discovered. You don't have to worry about getting big and building a crowd. What you do is you are going to become a possessor of that same audience that liked that band that you opened for.
Right.
Now, you may not be playing the same big arena that you opened for 'em at. You'll be playing a smaller place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, more clubs. Than,
Yeah. But those people will know your name. You can advertise the other band that you opened for.
They're a little
you
more
know.
likely to come to a smaller
Yeah.
venue. than
And,
they
and you
will
know,
a
and it's
bigger
just
venue.
just cool. And you make sure when you do that opening act, you don't get all Hollywood and think you're better than everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Get you a table or go sit down with the crowd. Go hang out with the crowd.
Bingo.
If you go hang out with the crowd during the rest of the show, and those people see you're like blue collar as can be, you're just like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you can make that connection, when they find out you're coming back to town, your street team's done their job, then you'll have a list and you'll just put out mailers to everybody. You'll be like, hey man, you know, remember when you saw Crow Mongler with Kid Rock? They're coming back. They're going to be here next month, and this is the venue they're going to be at, but they're headlining this time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's your excitement. And if you want to get that next step up, that is the quickest formula that I have found. Now, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Sure.
You can go play the same venue forever and ever, hoping somebody
Well,
Yeah.
sees it.
Well, and you're not gonna make it if just playing in Houston.
Right.
You got to get out of town. I mean, I don't know who's got $10,000 to throw down. That's a whole lot of chunk of change.
It is.
But, I mean, like how I did it. I a million years ago started doing show swaps. So I'd get in contact. I know there'd be a band from out of town that I want to playing with here in town. So they're from, let's say, Harlingen, right? The Instigators is one of them. So they're playing here on a show, and I'm like, dude, let's do a show swap.
Yes.
I'll it's $150 guarantee. So that means if nobody even shows up, I'm coming $150 out of my pocket. But obviously I don't want that. You know, whenever you come into town, you get $150.
Right.
And then when I go play Harlingen, I get $150.
Hey man, the guy.
That's a good way.
You know what?
I didn't think about that.
The guy traveling definitely needs the money because never mind the fuel cost. There's fuel cost. There's food cost.
Hotels.
And then there's hotel cost. Unless you're just putting yourself out, like you got a bus, you're just sleeping in the back of
camping.
it. Man, it is so hard to when you perform and you want to do something at your best. You do not do it your best getting off of a bus seat with your neck all cranked up and then throwing some water in your face and playing a gig. I mean,
Yeah.
a guy needs a shower. You need somewhere to
Maybe after 4 or 5 days.
Get a few,
Give it a week or two.
get a little bit of
Once a week or
sleep.
so.
Yeah.
What I would the formula that worked for me back in the day is, of course, we're trying to be early to the venue, and you see the people that are there already.
Don't you love that? We're playing at 10, but sound check's at 6.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
And but I have a cooler. It's Jefe cooler, and it's got beer, it's got booze, it's got all the things you need for an after party. And so the people that normally show up early, like I can kind of, I've gotten better at it, where you can kind of tell like these people are going to be here till at the end of the night. And so I just started asking, hey, where's the after party? Everybody wants to have an after party.
That's right.
And I'm like, I got a cooler full of booze, man. Like, let's do this. And then let me go talk to so and so. And you talk to his old lady, whatever. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Now we have a place to stay.
Right.
Yes.
Like I have never not one
Yes.
time paid for a hotel. I've always crashed on somebody's floor.
Yeah.
Or in the back of
Hefe,
the truck.
you look like the kind of dude that would crash on somebody's floor.
Fucking hey.
I've crashed on many floors after shows.
Yeah,
I've crashed on the stage before.
done it. Yeah, I've done it. I've done it a bunch. We'll say that anywhere from Lawton, Oklahoma, to Harlingen. Yeah.
All right, neighbors in the north.
and all
Hello.
of that, man. Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle. That's for sure.
It is.
So you were telling me that you didn't go into specifics, but you were telling me you've got some new projects going.
Ah.
So let's, if it's not a big secret, then let's
Please.
find out what
Yeah, yeah.
what is the project.
Well, first one is Sam Monstro.
Say that again, slow and in English.
Sam. Well, it's in. Wait, what is it? It's not Guatemalan.
Sounds okay.
It's something like that though.
I was gonna
Portuguese.
Okay.
Portuguese.
I was gonna say it sounds Portuguese.
Yeah, but Som, S-O-M space M-O-N-S-T-R-O. So like
Sam
it's like
Monstro.
music monster.
Yep.
Basically, is kind of the
Yeah.
translation
Music
for it.
monster.
Monstro is music.
Yeah,
is
my buddy
monster.
was basically like all the cool English band names are taken. So I had to find a different language. I was like,
Awesome.
I dig it, man.
I do
cool
too.
names are
Pantera.
taken.
That's Mexican for
Panther.
Puma or Panther.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but
I'm not a Ford fan, but Pantera's on my bucket list.
all right.
Those are nice.
And so that's Beer Jitsu, and we have he and I have been working on the project for about a year and a half, off and on.
Hang on. The guy's name is Beer Jitsu?
That's what he goes by.
Awesome.
I'd
like to meet that guy.
We actually have a we do jiu-jitsu, and we have a thing that's they do right here in Houston a couple times a year, and it's called brew and
jitsu or something like that.
Okay.
And we go down and there's beer and jiu-jitsu, and instead of there being all these
Sounds
tables and
pretty
chairs
awesome.
around, there's a bunch of mats.
Yeah.
And all of us we go down there and you
Spend
drink
20
beer and
minutes
you
on
roll.
the mat
Yeah.
and then spend the rest of the time drinking with your buddy.
Yeah. So I like his name. I
Invite
like
me
his
to
name.
whenever that happens again.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll send you a link.
Yeah,
for that.
wouldn't know what I'm doing, but
It's all
I'm
right.
sure I'd have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the best thing to do though is just to watch.
That's right.
Right, okay.
Because it doesn't hurt at all. So you can sit there and drink your beer
Hell yeah.
and let other people get all those hamstring tears and all that craziness going on.
Yeah, so Sam Monstro, it's definitely got
Monstro.
a little bit of southern vibe to it. Definitely got some Pantera kind of vibe. It's got I don't know, there's some Machine Head in there and stuff like that. I mean, it's heavy, it's groovy, and it's got a whole bunch of kicks.
I like
And
it
so
already.
We've pretty much got all of the songs that we're going to put on our album, and we picked a few
Great.
from in the past of other things that we've done.
How
as
many?
well.
So can we say this is a band and not just a project? You've got a full blown band going again.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, right. So you're not putting this out there and then looking for people to play with you.
Oh, no,
Your band is
Yeah,
together
we
now.
got all the dudes.
Awesome.
And,
So this is the band name, not the project name.
Right.
Okay.
Sam Monstro.
Sam
Sam
Monstro.
Monstro.
Yeah.
We'll put a link up.
And
Now he texted me this and said Sam Mastro and some other crap, right? And I was just like, was that
Autocorrect.
autocorrect?
Yeah.
Or is he saying I got like some monstrous stuff coming up, and then I got some not so stuff coming up, and I was like, well, we'll sort that out tomorrow.
right up.
Thanks for clearing that up. I didn't lose any sleep over it.
Right.
But I
Yeah,
was like,
we'll get there later.
yeah,
No big deal. But yeah, so and I did this Saturday. So we got two guys, Kendrick and Chewy. They live up in Tyler, so we don't get with them all the time. So it's kind of like once a month that we get together. And so now we pretty much we've got all these songs that are pretty much ready. We should be pretty darn tight on. And then Ray is the bass player, so here's locally, and so we're gonna get together at Beard's house and rock through the set 3 or 4 times. And so hopefully it'll be, and then we'll be ready to do final recordings, because we've got some demo stuff we've been working through, and actually some of those recordings are pretty good. We can actually use those to still mix and master and do on down the road. So so that's coming together. Another project is Rowdy. Yeah, and me and it's funny that this guy Trey, it's his dad. I know his dad. I knew his dad before I knew Trey, and his dad was in a band called Edgebrook. Or I think they were in. It was Days Past. I think was what it was before. It was a cover band, but he was friends with another friend, so I've known them since Pinche Gringos days.
Oh wow,
1999 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, when this guy Trey, he's 16, he's playing in a band called Land of the Slaughter. And they're playing, I guess there's it's a kid venue basically in Pasadena called The Pit. And so it's BYOB, so I bring my Jefe cooler up in there and show them youngsters how you do it, you know what I mean? And that's when I met him. And so since then, he and I have had a pretty good kinship. He went off to the Navy, came back, married a couple times, couple of kids, and we finally started hanging around again. And now we're like, bro, we need to do something. And I'm like, all right, you want to do something? I want to do some Pasadena white trash, redneck as hell.
And that's Rowdy.
Shit, yeah.
All right.
And just obnoxious, loud. You can taste the groove. There's so much just dripping off of it, man. Yeah, the first song we wrote was called Double Wide Dream.
Awesome.
Double Wide Dream.
Yeah, and I actually wrote one of my favorite lines I've ever written in the chorus. So the first part, it's just the nature of my double wide dream, and then it's 1 foot in the grave and 1 on the seam. I was like, oh, I like that one. We're keeping that one. You know? Yeah. But we just jammed a couple of nights ago, or maybe it was last night.
Great.
And then we're getting together Friday. And yeah, man.
So that's coming along real good.
It's rolling, yeah. Like I said, I think we got all the folks. We're like I said, working on this new guitar player guy. That seems like it's gonna be spot on. But like I said, we only got really 2 songs, at this point. Dad and another song.
Right. So you've got those 2 bands that are rocking right now. So you went from one band that has called it off for right now. And now you've doubled up with 2 bands.
I've been in 5 bands
at once,
all at one time, in the past few years.
And I was a band whore.
And are you still running the music rooms down there?
Yes, I own Texas Music Studios.
Right, so you're still doing that, and the bands.
And I work at Specs in Baytown.
Awesome.
Baytown gig, because the studio doesn't make enough money for me to just live on, but trying to get my credit right.
Do you get a discount on a?
I get case price.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I think I get a little bit of discount.
If you need some party accessories,
these things ain't free, but they sure are delicious,
aren't they?
But so those 2, and then my brother's Wellborn Road, Tyler and Philip. We're 3 working on a project together. We've only gotten together one time, but it's...
So this is a whole third thing that's kind of starting. For everybody out there that thinks you don't have time to learn an instrument, or you don't have time to do some sort of project, whether it's music or not.
Or learn to crochet. You got time.
You got time.
I promise.
Just do it.
You don't have to learn to crochet. Okay, if you want to, we would never make fun. Yeah, we'd make fun.
We'd make fun of you.
But don't learn to crochet.
Just make me a kick scarf.
That's right.
Listen,
I'll sport a scarf.
Some people are made for the lead guitar. Some people are made for rhythm. Some people are made for bass. I've been told that I have like the hands for bass. I just don't have the talent. Okay, So what I have is all these years in the recording studio is that I can fix your music.
Right.
When you screw up, I can fix it.
Yeah.
But I can't play my own. Gotcha. And I can sit around and inspire you and help you write music, and it'd be awesome. But as far as me sitting down and like having my own stuff, I'm like, no, it doesn't happen. So we all got to know where we are. So I'm a glorified button pusher and mouse operator.
Sweet.
But I can mix, I can master, I can make you sound better than you actually are.
Sweet.
But I prefer in the studio to use as little of that as possible.
For sure.
I really like the real sound. We had a band that spent a long time in the studio, Nocturnal Madness.
Yes.
Okay.
And
They actually recorded a full album
when we
in
did
the studio.
when we did Nocturnal Madness, like this band took me back to the metal of the 80s.
Yep.
You know,
They're one
and
of
every
those
time
old school
every
thrash
time
metal.
these guys would come through my door, other than the fact that he's got this pedal board with terrible wires and terrible pedals, and you know he plays phenomenal,
Yeah.
right? But I know that
He's
it's
good.
gonna be bad.
It's good to have
You know,
the 60 cycle
so
hum.
that band.
Oh man.
all kinds of static and
That band taught me something, though. You're never done learning, but they taught me something. They taught me the power of DI, direct input.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't do it on purpose, but it just got to the point to where it was so hard to fix their stuff, so hard to get the muddy out, so hard to get the extra static out, that I finally
Do all the other stuff post.
I finally
Right.
Give me the
started.
direct in.
I started micing their equipment like they wanted, but I'd run a splitter and run a direct input in, and man, and they throw down for a
So
while.
For the ones that don't know about the direct input, it literally comes out of the amp and into the recording board. So
That's
that way
right.
there's nothing else
nothing.
to mess up the
It's
signal.
Right now.
clean and crisp.
Now that gets rid of their special sounds on their pedals and stuff like that. So
You have to go in after the fact and make it sound like
we call
what
it-
that guy brought his equipment in to sound like.
We call it post production.
Right.
You know, because it happens after the fact.
Cut another one of these when you get a chance, somebody.
Beer girl, we need two.
Thank you.
Whatever one of them red label things was also.
Gabe would like a red label thing. So anyhow, they taught me, you know, because I had to solve this problem. Because they sound great except for all this extra trash. And so I started doing the
Phenomenal
direct
band.
input, right? And they would leave, and now I'm stuck to clean all this up.
Right.
And then they want to come back in a couple days
Now
and
you
listen
do
to
your
it.
magic. Right.
Right. And so once I started doing the direct in, and now I have a lot of good, we call them emulators because it's
Right.
like an amp that's inside of, you know, it's all the equipment that's inside of your software.
Right.
You know,
all-
and a few years ago it wasn't that great, but in the last few years it has
Everything
gotten to
gotten
be
so
awesome.
much better.
Right.
In the past 5 years,
you can
there's
you
been
can
so much
fire up
improvement.
you can fire up your Marshall, and then I can put the Marshall on
Post.
in there,
Yeah.
and you can't tell the difference because they've just got it down that good now. And they'll come back, and when they come back and they're listening to it, like,
They thought it was them.
yeah,
They thought it was their
think they
equipment.
sound so. They think
Like,
they
man,
sound
I
so
never heard
great.
it sound that
but
good.
they did play it.
Right. Well, it's them playing.
They did.
Right.
They did play it.
Alter
It is their notes, but I'd have to, you know, go direct in, and every time I get somebody that says, "Oh no, bro,
I got to use my amp.
my equipment is."
My
I
sound.
spent so much money on
Yeah.
this, and,
Like-
and I need this particular mic.
There's
and,
no way you can get it to sound this way.
Right. So
Just be like, okay,
so,
buddy.
Right.
yeah, I don't argue
And
with
then
them.
they
What I
come
do,
back.
what I do is when they come back, he's been in the studio with me.
Oh,
They
yeah.
come back, and I'll be like, "Here you go, sample one. Hear it for about 5 seconds. Shut off. Sample two. Hear it for about 5 seconds."
Oh, my
And there's
God.
night and day. Now,
Night and
I
day.
won't tell you which one is you,
Right.
right? I'll just tell you which one you like better.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for a while there were some bands that I actually had the drummer come back and do it on the electric drum kit.
Right.
Okay.
You know, now acoustic drums are phenomenal, right? It's the real sound. It's raw. It's good when they're done right. You know, but there are certain things that you can do with the electric drums. Whereas, you know, I can change the sounds. It takes a lot to move that snare out and put another snare in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mic
But
it up.
it's direct
Keep it
in.
Or you can just go click, click.
Right.
click,
But since it's direct in, that drummer, he really did hit the snare. He really did hit the kick. He really did put these inputs in. Now I might have 5 kick drums to choose between. I might have 4 snares. I might have 10 cymbals. You know, and so I'm able to go in and see what sounds best in that post production.
Right.
And you know, is it going to be fake? Well, no, it's not fake. He really played it. He really put it down.
Right.
We just changed the sounds in post. But when you go hear him in concert, is it going to sound the same? Yeah, it's going to sound the same.
Right.
You know, it's going to sound great on his electric drums. You know, on the
acoustic
drums. But
and it did. I mean,
yeah,
it really
yeah,
did.
yeah. But
live, they were great. You know, it's like you didn't care that the 60 cycle hum and the static from the distortion was just screaming in your ears. It was part of the show. But when you're sitting down,
Live
you're listening to them.
But Nocturnal Madness,
You want to hear the clean.
right now they've taken a break. They're not playing. Two of their main members. I'm gonna have them on this podcast. Rockin' Frankie Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Guitar player, and just a decent dude.
Yeah.
He's like the ultimate dad of the year.
He's
Okay.
a sweetie pie.
I wasn't gonna say it because it sounded a little, but yeah, he's a sweetie pie,
Yeah.
right? Very, very good dude. And then Hector.
Yeah.
They used to call him the Animal
Animal.
Perez,
Right.
right? But they're both playing in the Silverado band with John, and it's all Tejano music.
Oh, okay.
And I've heard a little bit of it, and it's pretty good. You know, now when I drag them onto this show, well, I'll let them talk all about it. But, you know, I'm not deep rooted in the Tejano. You know, I think, you know, everyone's got their loves. And if I was in the recording studio and I was recording a Tejano band, I would turn the horns down just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you turn the horns down just a tiny bit,
You can hear everything else.
then I'm there.
Right.
You know?
And there's the mix.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what's terrible. You become a snob
Yeah.
when you start mixing and mastering. You become a snob because, like, I'll hear something really good on the radio and I'll be like, man, I just wish there were a place where I could get the raw tracks.
Yeah.
Because if I could mix,
I would totally pull that snare out of that.
yes,
All
Yeah.
day when I'm driving my van and I got the radio on and it changes from one band to a different band, I'm there with the buttons tweaking. I'm like, I got to take some bass out. I need to put some mids. I got to take some mids out. You know, this band doesn't have this sound that this guy does, but I'm going to make a happy medium in between.
But I do thank that band because I was really. Like, I was okay at pushing the button and recording,
Right.
but I was still learning a lot in post-production. And because there were so many hurdles to cross with just equipment issues, not the band's playing.
Right.
Okay, because Anthony on the drums, one of my favorite
Oh,
drummers.
yes.
You know, as a matter of fact, I paid him to come back and do studio musician stuff for me.
Yeah.
And for
He and
anybody
I-
out there, you know, I don't pay a lot, but I won't work for less than $20 an hour. But I pay studio musicians $20 an hour.
Yep.
If, say I have a guy come in that's singing and playing his acoustic, but there's nothing else, and I'll talk to him and I'll be like, hey man, you know, I mean, you just wanted to lay this down so that you've got it. Once you give me a couple of days and come back and let me show you what I can do with it. And I'll have a drummer come in and lay down drums to what you've already recorded.
Right.
And then I'll have him come in and play bass or lead guitar and put some leads in there. You know, and I'll have a couple studio musicians come in.
Make it a song.
Hey man, $20 an hour, couple hours of their
Couple
time.
hours.
And when you come back in, I take the risk because I pay that money out.
Right.
I take the risk, but never have I had somebody come in and heard themselves with a full-on band and been like, no, I don't want that copy.
Right.
Now, if you want that copy, you got to pay what I paid to these musicians.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm not even trying to make money on it, but
Yeah, just pay me what I paid.
Right.
yeah. So
discover.
if there's any studio musicians out there, or even guys that are playing in bands, and get our contact information, hit us up on Facebook, hit us in the comments on YouTube, and I think we're here on the set.
Here on the set. Here on the set.
Here on the set at gmail.com. So throw down there and let me know that, hey, I play drums or I play guitar. Even if you've got stuff going on, you know, if I need somebody and I've got a list of people to choose from, man, I call the next guy on the list. You know, I don't sweat it. You know, and it's a good way to make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You know, for somebody that's not making any money with their band yet.
I mean, you're helping that artist out too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I know. I mean, and of course, it's song by song basis, but man, an acoustic guitar and somebody singing there's something just pure and raw, and man, I don't know, that Tyler Childers guy, bro.
Yeah. My kid,
Blows my mind.
the 18-year-old tells me the other day, because I have a lot of songs where I have the acoustic versions, and those are the ones that I put on like for the iPod and stuff to listen to in the car. And my son's like, he's gotten to the point now where he's got an ear for it, and he says, "Man, I'm starting to understand why you have the acoustic version." I'm telling him, like, hey, I like the originals too. Right. But there is something. It's more like you're in a small room and there's 5 people.
It's intimate.
You know what I mean? Man, couldn't have said it better. Yeah.
I don't remember who, but I remember somebody, I'm not sure if it was somebody famous, an old rock star or something, but I remember hearing them say, if you can write a song on acoustic, it doesn't matter what genre you play, it's always going to sound good. So, and any good song, and any good song should be able to be played on an acoustic.
Right.
And by that they meant, if you can write a song with your acoustic guitar, and let's say you play rock or metal, if you take that metal song and you play that song on an acoustic, and it sounds like an acoustic song, that song
I wonder what Pantera fucking
was
style would sound like.
You know what? I'm going to play tonight. We're going to find out.
We're
We're going to find out.
I love it.
I'm gonna dabble now. Now you've given me an idea. Thank you. I needed some inspiration. I
There
haven't
you
picked
go.
my guitar up in about a week,
Yeah.
and before that it's been a month or so. So now I've got a little something I want to try.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know, just like I said about the being on the road and those types of things, man. I do want to just jump back on that real quick because, like, I never feel more free than that first night, because let's say Thursday night, right? We drive to Austin, do a gig, stay at somebody's house, wake up on a concrete floor, and all I got to do that day is get my ass up, get my band together, get in the truck, and head to the next town and kick some.
Yes.
That's all I got to do,
Yeah.
and that's when I feel the most free.
Man, well, that's what you should be doing.
That's right.
I feel
Only if it pay better.
Only.
everyone says that, but
I mean, honestly, I'm not doing it for
At
the
this
money.
point,
Right.
I've been doing this since '99.
you
Yeah,
do it
same.
for the love
Same.
Absolutely.
and as a hobby, and you hope. You
hope.
It's more than a hobby.
Well, sure.
Like I said,
It's a
It's an
passion.
obsession.
it's a lifestyle.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like I have a lot of people that give me hell about riding motorcycles. I've been riding motorcycles since I was about 3.5, 4 years old. I mean, my first one had a lawnmower engine on it. You had to pull start
Get it
it.
going, hell
Had
yeah.
a centrifugal clutch on it, so the more you give it a little fuel, it starts taking off. No gears. Also had no brakes. Right.
Well,
and
yeah,
so
it's breaks in the
I-
late '70s, early '80s.
I started off with that, and of course, life progresses, and I have this reoccurring nightmare that I die in a bike crash, right?
Okay.
And as much as that would you would
Deter
think
you.
it would discourage
Yeah.
you, right? I can't help myself. Like you'll hear someone say it gets in your blood.
Yes.
Well, they're not lying, because I'm pretty damn sure I'm going to die on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't stop throwing my leg over it and going.
Yeah.
And I have this magical thing that happens every time I get on. It doesn't matter if it's been 2 weeks, 2 days, whatever. When I shift from first to second gear, not when I first take off, when I shift from first to second for the first time, the thought runs through my head exactly the same. Why haven't you got on this sooner? Right? And then I go do whatever I'm doing, and I tend to screw up and forget that I actually have responsibilities and things to do.
Right.
And the day is just blown because now I'm riding.
Yeah.
The health, we'll deal with those problems later.
Because they're not problems right now.
That's
And then-
right.
No.
And then
Nothing else to think
people
about
tell
but
me
the road.
like what's so great about it, and I'll tell them, it's the closest you're going to get to flying
Absolutely.
without flying.
Absolutely.
And I've said it to people before. Listen, if you were to walk up to Superman and tell him, listen, we've just determined in this politically correct time that you can't fly anymore. It's just not safe.
Nope.
Right? Listen, unless you've got a pocket full of kryptonite, Superman's going to
is
keep
gonna
flying.
fly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Regardless of the danger that it presents. And that freedom that you're talking about that you feel when you hit on the road,
Yeah.
especially you're saying that first show. I get that little rush, when I first get on the bike.
Yeah.
That first to second gear won't do it to me the rest of the day, but that first to second gear change, and
Crack a little smile.
and you know I'm heavy. You know I'm heavy on the throttle, like the whole rear end of the bike slides over.
Yeah,
You know, I only go the speed limit. I'm just quick at getting there. So that's perfect.
Right.
You know, description is Superman. You know, and I just can't stop riding.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I can't watch it on TV.
No.
You know, I mean, it's like a weird addiction.
I've banned
I
myself
have
from
to.
that shit.
I'll have to shut it off.
Like watching what though?
Motorcycles.
Anything, motorcycles.
Right.
And motocross or
Yeah, anything.
You're watching Easy Rider, you can't watch
No.
Easy Rider.
Anything.
No.
I don't want to see
No.
anybody
Really?
No.
crashing.
I don't want to
wanna
see a
think about
crash.
that.
I don't want to see anyone else enjoy themselves.
Nope.
I get pissed
Oh,
when
that
I'm,
doesn't make you want to go.
when I'm in my truck and I see people go by me on their motorcycles.
Damn.
And I'm like, I walked right by 2 Harley Davidsons when I got in this truck. Right?
That's truck, right?
And I'm like, I'm a sellout for the AC. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
You know? And of course, there's always a reason why I took it, because I was being responsible and I had things to do, people to pick up, whatever.
Right.
But I still, it aggravates me, you know? And sometimes it's just enough. I'll be in the house and I'll feel it. I'll walk out to the garage door. I have a door that leads out to the garage. I'll open the garage door and I'll stand in the doorway. And there's normally a few Harleys in my garage. And right now, Gabe's is in my garage. Nice dyno low rider. And I'll sit there and look at them. And I don't necessarily have to get on it. Just knowing it's there and I can.
Right.
You know? And then after a few minutes, I'll close the door, go back inside, and
Sure.
you know, and I'm okay. But yeah, that's, man, when you've got some kind of freedom like that, you got that's adrenaline. That's, you know.
Well, it's something to live for and something to die for.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
Back when I was in the band and we were playing shows, and you know how you said where you would wake up and know that you're just going to go to the next show. You know, for me, it would be halfway through the show, and I'm looking out at the crowd, and I see staring eyes with, you know, just intentionally focused up there, me and my guys, and everybody's having a good time.
Right.
Everybody's either smiling or they're headbanging.
Right.
You know, and for me, that was it. That was like, this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
You know,
I've never been one of those frontmen that'd be like, all right, everybody, put your hands up in the air, or let's start a circle pit. Like, I just.
No instructions
I'm
needed.
just playing.
Well, yeah, I know, because first off, if you're having a good time, whatever that means to you, have that good time. I'm not going to ask you to do nothing else. That guy that's sitting on the bar way over there and he's just doing this, I got him.
That's right.
I got him. And I'm totally cool with that. You don't need just whatever.
Hey.
We're going to do us, you do you.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And you know what's funny is there's only been a few of the big shows that we did where there was more than 10 people. We played White Swan hundreds of times a year. We played 3 or 4 nights a week sometimes, constantly. That was our second home. And the
you know,
bartenders,
thank God for places like the White
the
Swan.
sound guy, Harry.
You know? Yeah.
It didn't matter if they were the only ones there. We went and we put 110%. They gave us free drinks or they made us pay. It didn't matter.
Right.
They were there. We played our asses off.
For sure.
And the one guy that would come in just to buy a beer and check us out just because he heard music,
Right.
he stayed the rest of the night. Or if he left, he came back with more people.
Right.
And so it turned from 3 people that we were just there to say, hey, you guys are here. We're going to play for y'all.
Heck yeah.
And we rocked the house for 3 people.
Yeah.
And by the end of the show, there's 30 people there.
Right.
We heard music.
Yeah, come on.
You know,
we
that-
heard music.
That's the bands I like that aren't all Hollywood. That don't think they're too good. That
Oh.
it doesn't matter if there's a small crowd or a
One
big
guy.
crowd. They're gonna go out there and I've heard myself while I've been at certain events where like the band would be kind of bummed, and you know there's always that one guy in the band that's like, look,
There's nobody
you know
here,
what?
man.
Then there's nothing to be afraid of. Let's just
That's
play
right.
the best set we've ever played.
I'm
You
not-
know,
I'm not
that's where the guy comes out and starts using his bottle as a slide, and
Right,
that's when you start
He's
doing, you
trying
start
stuff.
trying stuff, you know.
That's practice.
Yeah, I'm not going to say any names, but we were doing a show, and one band was about to go on. Guy that was about to go on was kind of like, well, I guess you're going to go play the 7 people. And then my buddy in my band, he's a stickler for it. He's like, well, that's your fault.
Yep.
Because it is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all we require in that specific band, but I mean, I think just about any band, you need to bring 5 people into that through the front door. That's at least 20 people coming to watch your band. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying? And then who knows, if they're couples, that's another thing I wanted to talk about too. It's even more people, you know what I mean? But you got to bring your 5 people.
Right.
Everyone's got 5 friends
That's
they
it.
can bring.
5 people. If you can't count your friends on 5 people, you either have a problem with people or people have a problem with you.
Right.
You know, that's where we talk about breaking bands and there being formulas. Like some guys don't understand why when you go to play a joint, they'll make you sign saying that you won't play within 30 or 60 days within 25 or 50 miles of their location. And band members like, oh, what the is all that? And well, the understanding of this is, you know, if you play that same venue all the time, then people will come out when they can.
Yeah.
I'll
You know what I
come
mean?
next time.
Yeah.
Right.
Next time.
Because
That's right.
you're going to be there. But when you start like controlling that a little bit and start, you know, treating it like a business and be like, you haven't heard Heavy Stoned in a while, and you're not going to get a chance to see them again if you
For a
don't
few
come.
more months,
If you
at
don't
least.
come,
So you better
if
come
you
right
don't
now.
come
Yeah.
to this show,
The sense of urgency.
and when you
go.
have that, your friends will come, your family members will come, you know, and you will draw the best crowds you're ever going to draw. But if you play somewhere in town every weekend, then it's no big deal. I'll catch you next
Catch you
Friday.
next week.
I think for newer bands, and what I mean really not just newer bands, because I've got 2 new bands right now. I'm not talking that, but like when you're first starting out as a musician and you've got your first band or whatever, I feel like you do need to saturate.
Definitely.
You do need to play 5, 6, 8 times a month for 3 months. Get your name out there. Play it everywhere you can, as possibly you can, and then pull the reins.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Work
then
on
that's
your
when
music.
you start. Right.
Work on your
Right. But
recording.
somebody in that band, you
Get
don't
some
need
material.
if you've got a band and you're starting to go, listen, anybody in that band can manage that band, but realize 2 people cannot manage the band, you know. And I used to hear it all the time where people be like, man, I don't want to give up 10% of what I'm. When I become something and something finally happens for me, I'm not giving away my 10% of my millions. Look, dude, you're making $0 right now.
10% is 0.
That's
bro.
right. That's right. So, and if you don't want to pay a manager, most managers will make a percentage of what you make. So if they can't make you make money,
Right.
They don't
trust
get
me,
paid.
you won't have to fire them. They'll quit.
They'll quit.
Right.
You know, so anybody in the band can do this. You know, it's just like having a second job. You know, but if you pick one member of the band to do it, then do what they say. Follow what they got going. You got to get behind them, just like you would, you know, a manager from outside the band.
but like-
you don't have to give up that 10%.
Right.
You know, if that guy's in charge of stuff, well, hell, he's in charge of stuff.
Well, because I mean, like you said, it's like business. So you know, we have like the social media guy, right? And then we got the guy, you know, I guess the manager, and then the person who actually has the hookup for the shirt. So that's the merch person. You know what I mean? So we funnel all of the money. Like this person communicates with that person. Like no one else in the band communicates with that
Right.
person.
Everybody has a position.
It's just everyone's got their
The hierarchy, absolutely.
Right.
You have to.
And but before I forget, because I wanted to say this earlier too. I like when I'm putting a show together, and I'm determining the door and all those things. I think about that couple, right? Because I'm 48, got kids, grown kids, but got kids, and like I remember us trying to get out, you know. So got to pay a babysitter. Right?
Oh.
So you're I don't know what's that, 80, 100 bucks, 150 bucks, whatever you're gonna pay, right? So that you're out that. Then you gotta get in.
You gotta pay at the door.
I never want to charge more than $10, man.
Yeah.
Because then
It's reasonable.
So now we'll just say it's $100, right, for the babysitter, and then that's $20 to get in. So that's $120. They ain't heard a lick of music. They ain't had a sip of booze. Ain't nothing. All I think about is those people.
And
Because-
the fuel to get there these days.
because right.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that they make sure at the end of that night they're like, man, we got our money's worth tonight.
Yeah.
I'm playing and giving it all I have to make sure that they have a good time.
You put an event
I
together.
felt that back in 1998. I remember the year. All right, Kid Rock came to town for the first time here in Houston. All right, on Devil with a Cause.
Right. Ball with the ball, but
Yes. You're gonna get us in trouble on YouTube. So
I didn't do the whole thing.
No, it was just a tiny bit, but we love Kid Rock here. Okay.
Heck yeah.
I actually love all the newer countrified stuff that he's done over the last few years more than anything else.
He banged Pamela Anderson.
I guess. Anyhow, that's Tommy Lee's leftovers, But what I was saying
That feller.
in
Good
'98.
Lord.
In '98,
Watch out. Coming through.
I went to this show. And I've never heard of Power Man 5000. Rob Zombie's little brother, right? Never heard of him.
What's weird is he has a lisp when he talks, but not when he performs.
Well, Ozzy can't talk for nothing, but sings good. So I've never heard of him back in '98.
Okay.
Some Houston band opened up for him, right? And they were terrible. There was some Mexican rap kind of thing. And I was just like, man, these guys suck, right? So
Pimpedelic?
I don't know whoever you were back in '98 that opened first for Power Man 5000 and Kid Rock. It was called the Aerial Theater back then.
Okay.
Whoever you were, you suck. Okay, because I can't remember you, but you suck. All right, I would have left if I would have had to hear any more of them. It was that bad.
Yeah.
And then this next band comes on. I'm like, what? There's two openers.
Yeah.
All right, I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta
I'm
wait.
here.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I paid a lot for these tickets. Me and my best friend are here,
Yeah.
And so this guy comes out, and the energy he has. He looked like Billy Idol with the blonde hair when he was younger, and there was so much like this dude vibrated on stage. Like he was all over the place. He was into it. Like the energy he had, I didn't know any words to any of the songs. Never heard them.
Right.
Now that's a hard thing to do if you want to enjoy a concert. A lot of times you need to know the music a little bit so you can enjoy it.
Right.
Not necessary with Power Man 5000. Right? They blew me away when it was over. Right, and it was time for Kid Rock to come on. And there's that little time of interchange. I had that feeling of, you know what, if they just came out and said Kid Rock's sick and can't do the show, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want my money back.
Right.
Power Man 5000. I never heard of these guys. At that time, I didn't know it was Rob Zombie's little brother. Right? And I was just like, wow, what a show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then as they're getting stuff set up for Kid Rock, he comes out into the crowd. Not his whole band. He parties and moves around.
Yeah.
Now, if you know the old Aerial Theater, you have the upstairs section, because it's small but it's tight.
Right.
He went up in the balconies with people and he's sitting up in the chairs and just hanging out with people, and then they would move the spotlights over to where he's at, and he'd be partying with another set of people, and while Kid Rock was playing, and I just thought to myself, man, that was good. Now Kid Rock did a good show. Right, like and it was the best show.
Okay.
It was better than Power Man 5000.
He ruled the night. I got you.
Right,
Yeah.
but if it had canceled, I wouldn't have been like bummed out. I was like, dude, yeah, I was entertained.
Heck
And
yeah.
to have a band that you don't know, never heard of, don't know any of the lyrics, but it was that guy's energy.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
So
it is,
yeah.
I never want to be in a band where everyone's looking at their feet, man. That's not the point.
Dave.
If you just want to play
Figure
the
out of
music, dude,
Yes,
I'm
yeah, he
not gonna pay an entry fee. I'm just gonna listen on the CD or whatever the thing at the house.
Right.
Look, we're not going to say his name like that and down on him and not discuss it.
Yeah.
We are about to discuss Dave, the lead guitarist for Heavy Stone. Super nice guy, very talented guitarist. He would tell you he's not, but he is. Okay?
Yeah, he is.
I love listening to his guitar licks. I mute everything else out when I'm in the studio doing playback, and I jam his guitar stuff. So
Yeah.
I love Dave's guitar playing.
Yeah.
But he had this weird sort of stage fright. Now, I'm not talking like like the Doors,
we
you know, where he stood backwards and wouldn't look at the crowd. But he has a
Kinda.
baseball cap on like you do, and he would kind of get that 45-degree angle with his head so that his bill was just enough to where he wouldn't see the crowd. And of course, Gabriel was the front man, so you know he's jerking around on the mic, and he's got plenty of stuff
I got
going
hair
on.
down to my floating around.
But it was just like for I don't know, for a couple years, the first couple years, he would just stand there and like
Kind of hide in
he
the
could
shadow.
play a real heavy metal, but you would think that he's playing Nirvana. You know what I mean? Because he's just like his body is not showing what he's playing, right? And he's really getting down, but his demeanor and like that look down. And we teased him for a long time.
For those 2 years, my wife didn't know he was in the band. Well, because he had little kids also, so after the play, he had to split. You know, as soon as he was done, he'd break his stuff down, load up, and go.
But Dave, great guitarist, he did get past it.
Yeah.
And him and Gabe, we seen them not too long ago. A while back, you were playing
It was
Garrett. What's Garrett's first name?
Garrett Johnson.
Garrett Johnson.
Garrett
Garrett
Johnson.
Johnson band.
And the
They're
Garrett Johnson
country,
band.
Okay.
but it's good. It's like modern country. It's all right.
That rocky kinda country.
Yeah, and even Fernando, which is a good friend of all of ours, play the drums for this
Original
guy.
drummer for me.
And but he's played in a lot of bands. Neckpiece being the
most recent.
the most recent known. Like you may not know if you're watching this and you're not from Houston, you're not going to know who Neckpiece was. But I'm telling you, Neckpiece was so awesome that there's lots of girls running around Houston with Neckpiece tattoos.
Tattoos. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Now, when you've got girls tattooing themselves with your band name and you ain't made it, never mind, bro. You made it. You just made it local.
Yeah.
You did.
You know, those guys made it local so hard. What was it? Dan and
Rob.
Dan and Rob.
Ed and Fernando.
Dan, super nice guy.
Another one of those phenomenal guitar players.
No
man.
kidding. And you know, he worked a lot with Koki. And did a lot with Koki at Francisco Studios. You know, that's not as good as the Texas ones.
They sure as hell don't let you paint your doors.
You know, but anyhow, they had a room there, and he would just be such a nice guy. Like he would open up the studio for you if you had a band and you didn't have nowhere to go, like to go jam. He'd be like, hey, Wednesday we're not using our room. Like come jam in our room. And if you would go to jam at their room and oh well you didn't bring your drums but there's a kit there or whatnot, this still will let you use his equipment. You know what I mean? And
If he didn't want you to use it, he'd unplug it and take it out.
Yeah, but
he'd leave everything else there.
But
He
Dan,
got amps,
super nice
speakers.
guy. I haven't seen him in a couple years. I don't know what Dan or Rob are doing right now. As soon as I get an opportunity to get a hold of those guys, I am going to have them on the podcast. We've got so many. We're so deep in the musician world that it's hard not to just put a musician on every week, right?
Yeah, for
but
sure.
but I don't want my show like it's all me. No, Gabriel pulls his weight. It is not just me, and
Our show.
yeah. Well, you know what? It's not even just Gabe and I. The short wizard, Casey. She is like the third member of
Yes.
this that you don't see.
That's right.
Because she's behind the scenes. She edits for us. She helps produce the
Promotes.
show. She records. She sets up. She's kind of like in charge of our social media. Like she's doing things that weren't even part of the deal.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you need those kind of people.
And it's her birthday. We're not gonna say how old Casey is, but happy birthday, Short Wizard. We love you. We thank you for what you do. And like I said earlier, those flowers and that stuff, that is not from Gabe and I. That is our wives, you know, because we're too stupid to think of that cool stuff. We did pay for it and had no problem paying for it. But our wives love you that much that they made sure you were took care of.
Yeah.
Gabriel and I had, other than paying for it,
Any married man knows this is how it works.
Yes.
I bought this.
That's
I
right.
like it.
Yeah,
There,
great, great.
there you go. But for us, if we didn't have her doing this,
Right.
it would be so hard. We couldn't get our podcast off the ground. Now, I bought lights. I bought I had a banner made. You think
Yeah.
that that's like no big deal, but all this stuff adds up.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
like I was saying 6 months, but when I started thinking about it, no, it was like 9 months ago.
Yeah.
When we started thinking about doing this, and everything kept snowballing. I bought some of the best software for editing that you can get called DaVinci. They make Hollywood movies with this stuff.
Right.
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 I've heard about
So
that.
I've got the best stuff in the recording studio. Like I've got great stuff. Now she already does editing for another podcast called Texas Wood, and with Randall and Promo, and that's a great show. They're like a much nicer show than us. We're like the low budget stepchild.
Yeah.
You know, we're the low budget stepchild of Texas Wood.
Right.
You know, we don't have all the fancy intro stuff.
We're the Hank 3.
Right.
Oh,
I
speaking
love
of that,
Hank 3.
Before I forget, so Hank 3, I saw him. This was at Meridian. It tells you how long ago. It
Oh
was.
yeah.
And
Dos.
so of course he does his country set, and he does the rock, the psychobilly or hillbilly set,
Hillbilly.
all that. And then he's like, hey, y'all don't go nowhere. I'm gonna go back here, get my smoke on, chill for a second, try to stop sweating. I'm gonna come right back out. So not 10 minutes later, he comes back out. There's a bunch of us are up against the railing, and he's like, thank you very much. And he starts
Thank
at that end, takes pictures, signs everything, till every single person is taken care of before he goes, all right, now I'm gonna go to the back. That was awesome. So
Yeah.
he's coming up to me. I'm the last guy, right? I have all this time to think about what I'm gonna say.
And then you can say nothing.
I go,
Hi, I'm Jefe.
I love your whole musical family.
I did the same thing.
I was just like, damn, you sound like a dumbass, dude. And then he signed my hat and gave me the hug. I was thanks, man, did the pictures.
I did the same thing.
You
I
know-
met them at Ozfest. It was actually Super Joint Ritual. Phil and Hank 3, and I can't remember. I want to say I know who the other two were, but I'm thinking maybe the members of Down instead. But
Well, I think
When I-
Fazio was in that
Right.
back in those days.
okay. So when I got up there, I was like, this same thing. This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna sound so cool. I'm like 17. I got this funky hairdo with like this fake corn braid thing going on that my best friend's mom spent 2 hours putting together.
Yeah.
And I get up there and I go,
lovely.
your music saved my life, and I love you guys. You guys are like, huh, and he's like, huh. I'm like,
Cool.
and
Thanks,
they-
man.
Thanks, man. And they signed my
You're
thing,
the best.
and the security pushes me out like, "Are you
Yeah,
kidding?"
get out of
Thanks,
here.
guys.
You know, I follow an artist pretty close online. Like his name's Ryan Upchurch,
Okay, I know you.
and like
Or know of him. I don't know.
he's known for like country rap, but once you dig into him, you find out that his country rap is awesome, right? It's just rap about where he's from and he's country, and then he does rock band,
They call that crap.
right? Well, he does a rock.
Country rap.
He does a rock band, and then he does a straight up country. He has gold and platinum albums for every album he's put out. He's put out like 20 of them. He's an independent artist,
That's awesome.
and he makes it a point to meet with the crowd. If you honk your horn at him and see him on the road, this dude's a multimillionaire now, but he's always got time for his fans.
Right.
Unless he's doing something with the family or whatever, everyone gets bugged once in a while. But this guy will stop and meet you, take selfies with you, sign stuff for you. If you guys have not been exposed to Ryan Upchurch, go check him out on YouTube. Now, if you like country music, he's got some of the best country songs you'll ever hear. If you like rap songs and think you wouldn't like country rap, go see what he's got. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, try it on.
And,
try the boots
and,
on, man. Check it
and,
out.
and his rock band stuff, like everything this guy touches, he's got such drive that it just hits. And he's been independent this whole time and won't sign any contracts. They've been after him for a long time because he's got such a big pull.
Right.
But at this point, there's no reason to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's in total control. But just
Ranger
because
Smith
I'm
is like
just
that,
because
too.
I'm a
He's his
personal
own
fan of Ryan Upchurch, go see him. Now because of him, I've like that Calhoun. I like Calhoun
Adam Calhoun.
and Jelly Roll. before he started doing his country stuff. But his country stuff is fine. I like it just fine.
I do love that Sing
But-
With Me song. That one,
but-
oof, God, that is.
But that and Jennings,
Yeah,
you
struggle.
know what I mean. I like what they're doing.
Oh, I think.
And Tom McDonald.
El
Go
King-
check all those independent guys
El
out.
King is touring with Jelly Roll right now. El King is dude that was he was in 51st Dates. He was a dude that kept getting hurt with the stitches, and then he was the guy that got injected with the animal stuff. He was Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider.
Rob
His
Schneider.
daughter is El King.
Okay.
And El King is.
I heard she was- I heard she was
freaking
a
love
singer.
her. Yeah, she's really, really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Check
I'm
that out.
trying to remember what the name of the song is, but it's just her and an acoustic, bro. I'm just telling you, man. It's so stripped down, man. It is. It's a pretty awesome tune.
Well, I like how you said it earlier. That just the word intimate says it all. You know what I mean? And like I said, we love having the musicians because we're deep into music here. Gabe and I, obviously, recording studio and an engineer, fabulous musician. You know what I mean? So obviously we're into the music scene. But the show, when I was saying that it's me. No, it's not me. It's all of us. And I don't want our show to be strictly. But there's so much talent in Houston alone that I could definitely have a musician on every week. You know,
Yeah,
but
for a couple of years,
look,
I'm sure.
look, guys, we have a lot of guests up and coming, and I've got guys that own their own
Get a
plumbing
Sharpie.
business. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna forget because you keep talking,
Yeah.
Mr. Long-winded over there.
So
I said it.
yeah, he said it. He said it and totally distracted me.
Now you
I'll-
gotta start over.
Where was I?
All right, I'm a singer by default. Okay.
No,
So I
no.
was like, I was 19, I guess. My buddy was in a band. He was jamming with some teenagers, and I was like, man, it was literally the conversation went like this. I was like, man, I want to be in the band. I want to play an instrument. Can I sing? And he goes, well, I was in choir my senior year in high school because that was my homeroom teacher. She begged me all through high school to be in. I'm like, when I have extra time at my senior year. Anyway, he's like, you can carry a tune, come on out. And we did a couple of rehearsals. And the guitars were loud. It was distorted.
Couldn't hear yourself?
We were, I could totally hear myself because we were literally in a shipping container on the 18-wheeler frame
Oh,
in this his parents' backyard. Like I couldn't even stand up all night. I had to be like this in it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like that in there, And but I did 2 or 3 rehearsals, and they were like, we want to go in a different direction. Well, lucky my buddy had a Home Depot credit card. I say we, but really he. Built this like 14 by 12 building, kind of like this in his backyard, and I helped, but like the walls were like that thick with all kinds of stuff, had AC and all the things, and I went to the bars 5, 6, 7 nights a week. When he built that, I started going to that studio 5, 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
life. Just
Yeah.
I just
Opportunity, man.
Everything
Opportunity.
focused on it. Like this is something radish, and I need to learn how to do it because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And then of course blowing my voice out. 'cause I didn't know-
Captain Caveman.
Yeah.
That was like,
and son. No.
yeah. That's totally the thought I had in my mind as he was doing that. Yeah.
Glad you brought that up.
Hold on.
You know, something like that was similar with me. I was a guitar player, and one night in a drunken stupor, somehow dropped my guitar while it was still on my shoulders.
Okay.
And the headstock, just the neck and everything, completely just dismantled. It wasn't a very expensive guitar.
Right, but still.
But they say a few weeks later, they say, so what are you gonna do, man? You ain't got a guitar.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can try to sing, you know. And they were like, yeah, you do pretty good. I was like, well, I was in choir in 5th grade.
Are we talking GFD?
GFD.
That's what I
garage
looked
floor
like
dirt.
back then.
Wow.
Oh. Okay. So.
No.
All right. So.
Wow.
Listen.
That's when I was also dancing at LeBare's too.
Okay.
by the way.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Listen.
explains it.
Our lovely short wizard.
put this picture
She will
up.
put this picture up. If Hefe
It's totally
if
cool.
Hefe will send me the picture.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then it'll be here, or will it be here, or here? It'll be in one of those three places. Maybe not. Might be all the way over here.
Yeah,
but
this face and then right here. I don't know.
right.
Anyway,
But you're gonna see the picture that we're looking at.
Yes.
I would point it towards the camera,
Yeah,
but
you
it
see
won't.
that.
It won't do it justice.
Right. That's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
My buddy, he was literally
Yeah.
going through some photo albums the other day, and he was like, he sent those to me. I was like, who the hell is this guy? I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know who that dude is, man. Yeah. Crazy,
Awesome.
man.
So that was you and your first band as a singer.
Well, like I said, I was
singer.
18, 19. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
And so then, yeah, we didn't even know what we were gonna call it. We called the studio. We called it the chicken coop. I don't know. And then one night we're hammered
That's funny.
again, and I think I can't remember if Chris said it first. Right, one of us said chicken, and then the other one was like fix. And it was like chicken, fix, chicken, fix, chicken fix. That's the name of our band.
All right.
You'll never guess. In the 80s, there was a hair metal band named Chicken Fix. How the hell does that happen?
Right,
That makes no
right,
damn
right,
sense,
right.
man.
You know, as
No
we.
way. We came out of that in a drunken stupor. That was our shit.
Yeah, right. When we said GFD a few minutes ago, that was the band he was in when he broke his guitar
Yeah.
and they let him sing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was Garage Floor Dirt. And
Okay, I like that.
We're in Fernando. Fernando's the drummer at the time. I was playing guitar and the singer was playing bass. So there was me, and then we had two other guitarists, Ronnie and Dave. And one day it's middle of
Like
summer.
Iron Maiden, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Middle of summer, hot as hell. We're dripping in sweat. We got the beer sweating before we can get it, out of from the fridge to the garage. It's 2 steps. By the time we get in the garage, it's sweating, falling off our hands. And
No concrete.
we
Yeah, dirt. Right.
well, it was concrete, but it
was dirty.
dirty.
Dirt on top.
And I grabbed my guitar cable and I go to jack it in, and I got this mud running down my arm. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Dirt to turn to
Garage
mud from the
floor
sweat.
Dirt? Yeah, I'm like, garage floor dirt? And I want to say Dave was the one who goes, that's the name. That's it. And I'm like,
And you're like, what? What are you talking about?
what's the
Yeah.
name? He's like, garage floor dirt, dude. And I'm like,
I love it. I love
okay, yeah.
But they did end up settling with GFD.
GFD was
on.
for
You
sure.
know, yeah.
And
I think
it-
acronyms can be cool too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Why not? So eventually, we everybody just kind of went their own way. We're all high school kids, so
Right.
we all kind of go off in our own little ways, but then we all kind of just come back together. And there's only a few of us that are interested, so we're like, all right, I don't have a guitar. Like, I can't play. Anybody got a guitar I can borrow? Yeah, sure, got a couple guitars. We can borrow one. Why don't you try singing? I was like, well, I could try singing. Sure. So I go out, and we don't even have a microphone. We have a cheap stereo speaker, 8-inch, and we plug it into a guitar amp, turn the distortion up, jack everything to 10,
Yes.
and I just start screaming my head off into this speaker, and it's coming out of the amplifier like Iron Man in the beginning of Iron Man.
Nice.
That's so we
Yeah.
roll with it, and eventually somehow we get a hold of a microphone, and we're talking a couple weeks later. I get a microphone and I start writing stuff down, just words. I'm not really putting a song in. I'm just putting lines down. And they say, "Hey, what do you got there?" And I'm like, "Just play something." So they start playing. Drummer starts drumming, bass starts playing bass, guitar start playing guitar, and then I start belting these words out. And Captain Caveman style.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having a good time doing it. Woo!
That's right. And all of a sudden, we're a band again. And
Nice.
now we're writing songs. And
Very
we get,
cool.
We get about 4 songs, and we do the worst thing you can do, and that's start playing shows.
Oh, I've been there.
I'm sure you know the club. It's called Club 9406 Vertigo Nights in Pasadena. It's an underage club. It's no alcohol. So we get there.
You can't bring alcohol either?
It was a teenage club.
Oh, teen
so
club.
I believe there was one called Java Jazz up the north side.
Okay, yeah,
It was
I
like
remember.
that.
that Java Jazz came much later though.
You couldn't bring alcohol. The owner wouldn't allow it.
Oh, wait,
I
wait
think
a minute.
that was Christian owned.
Was
you
it,
know, so.
was it on Spencer?
Yes.
I know exactly
Club
what you're talking about.
9406 Vertigo Nights.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. And that club.
We showed up to play that club one time, and then I couldn't bring. They didn't have booze. Obviously, I just figured that out. And then we couldn't bring booze in, and I'm like, you know what? This place.
Well,
We're out of here, dude. Y'all have fun.
us being kids, we
Right.
loved it. We had everything we wanted there. Stage. There was even dancer poles.
Nice.
A checkerboard floor. It was great. It was
I
like.
do remember the checkerboard. Floor.
Yes,
That was
sir.
pretty cool. That
And
was
the
pretty
mirrors behind you. You know what it could have been.
Right,
You know,
right.
It could have been one of those.
What it was.
Probably was.
Yeah.
They just saved money on the remodel by not remodeling.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We ended up making that club so hot with the teenage bands that they were like, no more shows inside. You want to do shows outside in the parking lot. We can't fit that many people in here.
That's freaking
So
awesome.
Yeah.
the next few shows we do, that guy has a trailer, 18-wheeler trailer come out.
The
and
flatbed.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have
I played on one of those once.
Clown, which was Bobby's band.
Bobby's band.
Clown, later became Head Drug.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Them, Hatred, which was Koki's band.
Koki and his brother were
And
there.
his brothers, two brothers.
Yeah.
Yes, Clown. And
I think that was Alexander Brothers from Six Past Hell, I think.
right. And a friend of ours, Bobby, was actually a guitar player
Guitarist.
for that.
Yeah.
And then
And then into Head Drug. Yeah.
in the Head Drug. And the three of us, the three bands, were pretty much like a staple for a year at that club. Every Saturday we were there. We were playing, and
That's
we,
cool.
We'd end up sneaking some alcohol in, and
Well,
and-
yeah.
yeah.
Because you're rock and rollers, dude.
That's
That's
right.
what you do, man.
No, it's a
we
7-Eleven styrofoam cup with soda in it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Nice. But yeah, we started rocking that place once a week for the next couple of years, and then finally it's like, okay, we got something. We're obviously doing this.
Yeah.
Let's find another club. Cardi's 2000.
Oh, okay.
Another place like the Swan. We're there every. Tommy. Is it Tommy or Tony? Tom.
The sound guy?
The owner. Him and his wife were so cool.
The Mexican guy?
Tom. It's been so long, man. I can't remember. But we start playing there every night. We're not at Vertigo Nights. We're playing there. And we get to the point where it's just him and his wife there, and the sound guy and the bartender.
Yeah.
And we're playing, and they're like, we need a house band. I'm like, what's that? You know, we need somebody to come and just play every Friday and Saturday.
Right.
You got us. We're here.
Right.
And
Now-
sometimes they call us on Wednesdays and be like, hey, we got a band coming in, and they need an opener. Are you guys good? What do y'all guys want to do tonight? Oh, you gonna sit around, drink, and jam out? Okay, we're going to Cardi's.
Sweet. We're just going to go do that up there.
Yeah,
Right,
go
right.
over there and do that.
Right.
We end up meeting a band called Magistral,
Okay.
a Brazilian band that plays metal,
Okay.
and they were
Liking all of that.
phenomenal band. And so it was more or less, we're gonna go see Magistral, but we
Yeah.
get to play. You
Right,
know?
right,
and so we did that for a couple nights, and then Magistral went on tour around the world. We didn't see them for about 4 or 5 months. And one night, the singer from Magistral tells Tom, "Hey, we're on our way back through Houston. Can you get us those guys? We want to play. Get us
Hell
those
yeah.
guys." So Tom calls. He's like, "Hey, can you guys make it tonight?" We're already half trashed. We've already played 2 sets in the room. Yeah, exactly. So,
Do it.
Ronnie's got the truck and Dave's got a car. So we load everything up in Ronnie's truck. Me and Ronnie, we take off, and the rest of the band loads up in the car and follows us. We get there, and there's a crowd. Like, wow, we got
Shit,
people
yeah.
today.
Yeah, that's
you
awesome.
Because I guess there was another band that was there, but they weren't anybody we knew. So we go up, we start playing, and now these guys are jamming our stuff. And now, so we make new friends, you know.
Yeah, dude, that's what it's about, man.
Sure
And
enough.
that camaraderie, man, I love it so much.
Yes, and you know that's what it ended up being more like. We were more like a family, like, you know, and not that Magistral was a big part of it, but they were always like, man, it's good to have you guys here.
Yeah.
Man, it's good to see you guys, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming, man. You know, thanks for playing
Hugs
tonight.
and laughs
Yeah,
and just
and you know,
kinship.
and
you know?
we're kids.
But
you know, so for us-
it was more having that other band than the venue.
yeah.
You know.
Right.
Now I've watched them play at every venue there is, and where we saw your band play last
BFE.
at BFE,
It's one of the last shows.
they gave the best performance I've seen in the 10 years I've followed them.
Nice.
Was at BFE, and thank God I actually was filming that night.
Yeah.
Okay, so we actually have that like
One of
as
the
a live
few-
album.
one of the few
And
recordings.
right,
Very
right,
cool, very
right,
cool.
and so I was so happy to get it.
Live album.
Right.
Look at you.
Right.
Kissing
But
over there.
but
Love it.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I went and bought this shirt strictly for this show.
I got some stuff
And,
Kiss and Ace that I was gonna bring and put it up.
We
there.
we we,
Oh, right.
we,
Oh,
we
yeah, you got
next
that.
time. Next time.
on,
It'll
on
be up
this
there.
on this show, we kind of have decided that we're just gonna kind of wear rock and roll T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that we don't have nice clothes that we could wear or other things.
Right.
But I'm a big guy, and so I've got to get my stuff at like DXL or custom order. You know, and so I have clothes, but like I don't have that many rock shirts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
I mean, I guarantee
and so,
you, I've never had a 7X in
Right,
in
right.
my merchandise.
Right,
unless
right.
Someone, you know, 5X
Unless someone
I think is-
requests it, right?
5X.
Right. So,
That's what I did.
so for me, I don't want to be that guy where it's like, wasn't he wearing that shirt last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever? So like, I'm making trips to the store just to buy more like rock T-shirts.
There you go.
Like I don't need them. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, cause
Well,
I have clothes.
you don't need them, but
Right.
you
Hey,
want
listen, you go to the store and you pay $20 for a cool shirt.
Right.
I go to DXL and it's
40?
$50.
Oh, $50, well.
Yeah. You know, I guess that extra material cost.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, speaking of, so this is
Yeah,
my
what you
buddy.
got there? I was looking at that.
Hold on. This is my buddy Keno. Dead and the Dying. I don't know if you can see it or
Dead
not,
and the
but I'm
Dying.
And then here's the cool
If
thing.
you, if you stand where you were sitting, that camera will
That'll
get
pick
you.
it up right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boy Keno.
Okay.
And then I took this picture. He's actually wearing a Pinche Gringo shirt.
Right. I see it.
Hell
I
yeah.
I see it. I see it right there.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
so that was going to be another one of the stories.
Well, go ahead. That's what you're here for.
How we got our name. So we were called LaMotta for Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull Boxer, for for about 3-4 months. And then my brother CB from Vatos Locos heard about this kid. He was 18. Story starts out awful, but he had
Most of them do.
he had a migraine for like 3 days. Mom took him to the emergency room. He had brain cancer. They gave him 6 months.
Oh.
And CB's just like, he heard about this and was like, I got to do something. And contacted the kid's mom. Was like, I don't know what I can do. I'm in a band. I know bands. Can I put a benefit on for you? And she's like, okay. You know, like we're gonna sell barbecue plates and do raffles and all these kinds of things. And so it's Mexican rock bands, Mexican punk bands, Mexican metal bands. I think there was even a Tejano band that actually even played that day. And then us 4 white guys. And so I was like, we're gonna say we're Letos. Like that, you know, like white guys, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like dudes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was probably 11 tequila shots. It was at Mary Jane's on Washington. The AC didn't work. Just had one of those big old fans.
Right.
Hot as hell up there. And I was after like song 3, and we're all in wife beaters. I'm like, we're gonna do wife beaters tonight, bros.
Right.
And anyway, so I'm like, you know, hey, we're LaMotta, aka Gringos, and I was like I screwed it up, you know, like in the back of my head, and the place went ape. Yeah, you know, I just leaned back to the band. I'm like, we're keeping that.
Yeah.
Gringos ever since.
Awesome.
And his name's Jethro, but I got my Jethro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking crazy. And another quick story too is R.I.P. Joe Tibbs. He's no longer with us. He was my guitar player. And one of the most wildest things I've ever witnessed with my own eyes. We were downstairs Fitzgerald's. That was probably really close to during those Apex.
That was probably my second favorite spot to watch Gabe's band play.
I love that
No,
stage.
that and Romeo
One
Dogs.
time upstairs.
Romeo Dogs used to always
Upstairs
come
is
in
cool,
and
but-
do upstairs,
Downstairs.
and they always put on a good show too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so Joe, I guess 50-50. You never knew what you were going to get. He was hammered every time, and then like 60% of the time it was spot on, and the other 40% it was like, maybe not. Anyway, we're going. He's got these big old Kurt Cobain white sunglasses on, you know, and he's on it, man. And he leans back, and he's doing this solo, and like he leans back so far in my peripherals, like I think, oh shit, like I gotta try and catch him, and I put my arm down there, his shoulders get that far off the ground, and then as that solo's fucking winding up, he just got goosebumps. Look at that, dude! It just comes up, and wow, just lights that guitar on fire. And I was just like, I can't believe I just witnessed that. You're like, that was the coolest thing ever, man. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
you know, it's always cool to think about how you did a great job and how you are a great performer. But when you get to watch your band like Koki, man, the way he was talking about Koki, I'm one of those guys. I don't stand still. I'm all over the place.
Oh yeah, me too.
And then I look over whenever I'm spinning around. I gotta stand still just to catch the view from spinning again. And he's
your
still
eyes straight.
he's still going around, and it's like, I
Can't
can't
quit now.
just stay here. I
can't
gotta
let-
move
yeah,
too.
Yeah, I can't let you outdo me, bro. Like, come
That's
on, bro.
right. You know,
That's
it's
it.
always fun. Always fun to play with somebody like that. You know, when
absolutely.
your band is on it, you're gonna be on it. You know? And especially your guitar player or your bass player or your drummer.
Well, and then too, that's the show part. You know what I mean? I mean, that's man, it is. It's so important. I mean, because I'm doing that every show, whether 3 people, 3,000.
Right.
It's gonna be that show. I'm giving the energy. You know. Another story. This is now 10-Ton Hammer Band I'm talking about, but we, me and a buddy had reconnected over a mutual friend's funeral. He's a constable, my buddy is, and he, I don't know, we're just kind of start doing these kind of weekly checkups. Like, hey, how you doing, blah, blah, this and that, and we're just one of those phone calls. He's like, hey, what do you think about me bringing you to the stage in handcuffs? I was like, is that legal? He's like, I don't know, but it'd be cool, wouldn't it? I'm like, yeah! So, downstairs Fitzgerald's. This is definitely, a 10-Ton Hammer was at our apex. I mean, it was tit to back. I mean, it was super, super crowded. And so I'm outside, they do the sound check, they do all the things. All I know is my microphone's gonna be on the ground.
What year are we talking?
I'm really bad with those kind of time frames.
Yeah.
It's all kind of a big blur.
Right.
Oof, don't even get me lying.
It's a big fun blur.
10-Ton Hammer.
Come on, 10-Ton Hammer. From what I can remember, we were talking probably between 2005 and 2008.
Sounds great.
We'll go with that.
There we
We'll
go.
go with that.
And
Sorry to ask the hard questions.
So my buddy, getting too deep. So my buddy shows up. He's actually got to go to work in a little bit, but his whole family's there to watch it, and I know them too. You know, his wife and his kids and whatnot. And so he's in full SWAT gear. He's out. You know, we're out front, and I get the phone call. I'm like, all right, we're ready. And I'm like, all right, they're ready. He goes, are you ready? And I'm like, and that's about all I got. And then he hemmed me up.
He did it for real.
I don't know if y'all have ever been handcuffed before, but when they're too tight and you comment on them, they all have the same response. They're not built for comfort. And I'm like, what a he's shoving me. And so he gets his flag. I mean, he's got the helmet, the goggles, he's got the flashlight.
Right.
Nobody has any. I mean, from the front door of Fitzgerald's down, it is packed. And he's just shoving me. Get the out of the way, blah, blah, this and that. And people are freaking the out, man. And then, as I'm like, okay, we're going to the stage. I see the stage. I think, we didn't plan this. What are we doing? I know my microphone's on the ground, and he sweeps my legs, my chest, bam, hits the stage, makes this big sound. It's almost quiet. And then he unhandcuffs me real fast. And, when you're on there, people are standing up. They're probably right here. Like I said, it's a low stage.
Right.
And so
the stage at Fist is about like that.
yeah, so we start out with Push. Well, Push starts out, what the f? Anyway, so I just jump up, what the f? And the place goes It was fun. Oh my God. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah.
He wound up telling me a few weeks later, he's like, we should probably do that one more time. One more time. We're like, all right, we'll do it one more time. Can't do it any more than that. But yeah, man, that was a lot of fun.
All right.
Man, that sounds awesome.
That is awesome. Hey, look, guys, I hate to be the guy to put an end to this because we're having fun, but we got to end it somewhere. And while we've mentioned Koki's name a few times, man, Koki used to tell me all the time, dude, I'm giving you gold. Because he'd be giving me ideas and I wouldn't use them. You know what I mean? It's not because I'm smarter than him or better than him, just because the ideas weren't fitting for, at the moment. And Koki used to get real upset because this is a guy that did not have much resources. And I'm not a rich person, but I got resources everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't have a bunch of cash laying around, but if I wanted to go buy a new truck tomorrow, I could. If I want to go buy a new Harley tomorrow, I can. If I wanted to purchase another house, and am I rich? No, I'd have to pay those payments.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, a guy like Koki didn't have that. Mm-hmm. And it would kill him for me to have all this equipment at the recording studio and most of our like when you have a friend that fights with you as much as he likes you, that was Koki. Mm-hmm. Because he'd get upset because he'd throw it in my face. Man, if I had the equipment you had. Yeah. Man, if I had the opportunities that you had. But things weren't going that direction. I wasn't trying to push things that direction. Right. But I always understood it. Now, as we talk about Koki, I'm going to dedicate this to him because we lost him 2 years ago. And
when I met you at the gun range,
not long after that, it was funeral time.
I think it was that afternoon or the next day.
Right? Yeah, it wasn't. Right. Yeah, it was right in there. I was leaving to go home to up north to Indiana, and I hadn't been home in 26 years, right? And we had planned. I've been out of country. I've been across country, all kinds of stuff. But look, you can't ride a Harley up there year round, so I'm not interested. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people I cared about and liked up there are dead. Mm-hmm. So I don't go up. I have a couple of sisters and a few friends still. And so somehow, some way, we decided we'd make the trip up there. Mm-hmm. And as I was leaving for the trip, I'm getting phone calls from Koki. And I could tell there's something not right going on in his head. And he had some schizophrenia going on, and he had some issues. Mm-hmm. Okay? And by the time he finally got help and he got to the hospital and got help, it was like, next thing I know, I get the call that he's passed away at the hospital. Yeah. And I was just talking to him on the phone as I'm making the drive to Indiana. Yeah. And I'm trying to convince him that no, people aren't out to get you. Don't worry about it. If you've made a mistake somewhere, it's not like that. The guys that he was thinking were mad at him are not the kind of guys that are gonna, go chase around and beat him up or something, But something had gone wrong. I knew something was really wrong. I was like, dude, you need to get to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And when he finally did, it was just a little too late. Yeah. And we lost something great with Koki. Koki, we dedicate this podcast here to you. Thanks for the gold you gave out, and I'm sorry that you didn't have the same opportunities. Hopefully, wherever you've gone to, you are better off.
Absolutely.
And this is the part of the show where she's gonna get another camera out, so we'll just sit here and hang out for a minute while she gets. She's gonna get you. Just hold it. Okay. You're a big boy. So we're gonna have you sign our banner, but she'll get her other camera out.
Okay.
And I guess we're just out of here, guys. Next week it'll be a whole nother person. It won't be Jefe. but it'll be a whole nother person sitting in that chair.
Right.
If I know he has the 2 projects going
Thank
on
you,
right
Jefe.
now. Thank you, Jefe.
Thank you.
And the 2 projects that he has going on right now, there's no tour dates, there's no release of anything, but
Not yet.
we are going to get his social media information.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay, we're going to get that. And
It's a lifestyle.
and the short wizard is going to put that up on the screen during the B-roll so that everyone's going to know how to go to your Facebook page or
Awesome.
whatever you've got. You give us that info, and she will magically make it
Blasting that
happen.
shit all
It'll be on the screen. We won't have to worry about it. Won't be me misspelling it or
Sweet.
or totally just biffing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be fumbling
So
through.
until next week, guys. Next week we'll drop a whole nother show. Probably won't be a musician. May not be as cool as Jefe, but it'll definitely be a good story. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us again.
On
We'll
the
see you
set.
next time on the set.
Have a good one.
Yep.